Let's start with your story. Can you walk us through your career journey from practicing physician and investigator to leading global medical affairs at Cognizant, and how this experience shaped the way you work with the science and technology today?
Thank you, Marina, and that's a very good question, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. I think that for me has been a learning experience. Me coming, from the academic side, spending most of my years at the bedside, and then doing clinical research. Everything was very manual, and I remember, having some pictures. Maybe I'll share one with you where I have, in my office, and then I have all these binders behind me that used to take a lot of the space. And we just had a little corner to really work. So I think that was the environment that I was used to and comfortable. And then, as you can imagine, coming now into a technology vendor, I was exposed right away to amazing technology, amazing ideas, high cutting edge, technology that was being developed. And not only that, when you think about the terminology, the way we, diagnose a disease or do a particular treatment when we're in the hospital, and now coming to a technology vendor where they're talking about APIs and integration or system interoperability, I was lost and really had a learning curve to really catch up. So for me, it was very interesting to, again, have the opportunity to learn again, to really develop myself. That didn't come overnight, and it really took some time for me to feel comfortable under the new role. So that journey for me is kind of unique, but at the same time, hopefully it is an example that you always have to continue to evolve, continue to learn, and continue to grow, so that you can really, find opportunities that sometimes you even didn't imagine that were going to be available. So for me, it was a great experience. And I think it has brought us to where we are today, and what I'm doing in the current role that I am today.
And it's such a powerful journey, Lester. You've shown how transformation begins now with the technology, but with people who are willing to rethink how we work and to connect science and systems with purpose. It's inspiring to hear how you build a structure and actually gives research sites a voice in shaping the future of our clinical research industry. Cognizant has recently made some bold moves in the AI space, from launching the Neuro AI multi-agent accelerator to developing the agent foundry framework for enterprise scale agentic system. Could you share what strategic priorities guide Cognizant in implementation these AI innovations, and specifically with the life science and clinical research ecosystem?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And thank you for highlighting some Cognizant's up and coming capabilities. But I think that we are now in the forefront of really enhancing the almost 95% of all the roles within life sciences will potentially have a twin, or will potentially have an assistant that will help them with their capabilities, with their role, with being more efficient, being more faster, being more precise. And I think that that is the focus of Cognizant, especially with the life sciences, is looking at those roles, reimagining those roles, and see how technology can be of help in making them be more successful. I think that we have to be very clear here that the goal is never to replace the human or the skill set that the human has, but it is the role that we can do with technology, that we can streamline a lot of the work that is being done with repetitive motion and manual motion that a lot of the humans in those roles are not really good at, or it takes a lot of their time. So now with technology, we're able to replace a lot of those duties and make sure that the human is able to focus on the areas where his or her expertise is needed the most, so that we can really continue to push boundaries and move forward in getting results that we sometimes even imagine, but I think now it's possible. So Cognizant's functionality here, some of the ones that you mentioned, we also have other things that we have developed, like a virtual ACP that is now able to be deployed into rural communities, where we can potentially use it as a first line of screening and making sure that it has the necessary information and knowledge and insights in order to determine whether something is urgency or an emergency. And we're hoping now to take these boundaries, like I said, to rural communities where there's a lot of need for, these kind of providers or specialists, but sometimes these patients have to travel 2-3 hours to get to a major academic institution. And now we're in a position where we can take medicine to the home. We can take all these, basic or first line, activities to the home to really determine if it's warranted or needed for that specific patient to really, make that journey in order to have the care or the treatment that they need. We also talk about developing, MSLs, twins, or multi-agents that are going to be able to assist the medical science liaisons on the field in order to make sure that they have the competencies needed in order to make the best next question, or what is the best next step when you're engaged in an ACP, so that you make sure that you are really connecting and engaging at the level that is needed in order to generate insights. There's a difference between insights and information. And information is anything that you can get, but when you get insights, it's really something that you can build on, or you can develop a new capability or a new functionality that's probably not there. And those are the type of insights that we really want to bring in-house to continue to develop our capabilities, our functionality. So I think, like you said, those are amazing things that we're doing. As you can imagine, technology is evolving every day, it's changing every day. And I think that's a key differentiator between, the global medical affairs that I have built within Cognizant and maybe your traditional medical affairs, is that we are building and working with technology every single day. So we're really up to speed on what is really out there versus an MSL that focuses more on the scientific or the science exchange with his or her ACPs. And I think that's a key differentiator in what we do here at Cognizant.
And that's fascinating, the way you describe agentic systems. AI can reason, collaborate, and adapt in real time. It really shows how close actually we are to a new level of intelligence in research. And I completely agree with you. Ethical and reasonable AI adoption will define which organizations truly lead the next decade of clinical innovation. Let's talk about your team. Can you share an example on how global medical affairs leverages the partnership like SCRS to enhance site adoption of shared investigator platform that you have?
Yeah, that's a great question, Marina. And I think that's what I found out very quickly when I joined Cognizant, is that we didn't have all the necessary capabilities in order to really connect with the end users at the site level with a lot of our products. And sometimes they were being approached more from a technical engineer perspective. And as you and I know that come from the life sciences background, we understand one terminology, and that is clinical and medical terminology. So I think I was able to identify that, and I want to, congratulate Cognizant for allowing me to and trusting in me to build, their site-facing capabilities or their academic-facing capabilities. And with that, what I did, I was able to build two very important teams. The first one was a site onboarding team. This is more of the day-to-day operational, clinical operational activities. They kind of, handhold a lot of the end users, a lot of the sites, and they work with a lot of the technical aspects of the system. And remember, we have these products and life sciences that are at the global scale. So you have to make sure that you're also thinking on that with that global lens, because each region has its own regulatory, ethical, and compliance differences, and you have to make sure that your teams on the grounds understand those particular, differences from region to region. The second part is, okay, now that you have established, this support team, and you're working with the sites hand in hand. So where do we go next? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Continue to learn is probably one of the most attributes that you'll find in myself, is that I'm always constantly learning and trying to see what I can do better. And that's where I developed the whole global medical affairs team, because this team is very specialized. It's a team that really focus at the ACP level or the principal investigator, and having conversations with them to generate insights and to make sure that they have those deep conversations about, this is where we are today, but where are we going next? So the Global Medical Affairs was born, and I think that I was able to bring a very strong mix of different background, because if I bring everyone being an MD like myself, then everyone's going to think the same. And I don't want that. For that reason, I brought people with PhD levels. We got nurses. We got people at DO level, people with engineer background or project manager. And because of that, we've been able to develop a very strong team, again, that communicates very well, that is able to engage with the different stakeholders. Another key point is not always the stakeholder is going to be the ACP, especially within life sciences. You have to be able to communicate with CEOs or regulatory people or people at the coordinator level or site study manager level. And it's important for us to have that diversity within our team in order to make sure that we deploy the best people in order to get or generate the best insights. So I think those two elements were key in order for us to really turn the corner around and really start connecting with the sites at the level that they see us as part of their community. The last thing I'll say then is just, again, about engaging with these organizations, key organizations like SCRS, the Society for Clinical Research, and also AACI, the Association of Cancer Institute, which I think have been key in the development and the growth of our capabilities, in order to make sure that we build different channels of engagement. May that be some task forces, or may that be some tailor webinars that we do, or just educating their members, so that we make sure that we're always constantly showcasing the changes that we're doing and how those are really being transformed into new capabilities and new functionalities. And I think, again, congratulate Cognizant for allowing me to do this. And now today, I think we're in a much better position than we were, again, a few years ago.
That's a brilliant example, and I love how you emphasize diversity of voices, from investigators to coordinators and regulatory experts, that inclusivity build the trust and create solutions and truly work in practice, not just on paper. What values guide you as a leader, especially when driving innovation and leading such a diverse global team?
Yeah, I think continuous learning. I think it's all about making sure that you are networking with people that have been there, that have done it. Make sure you're constantly learning from them. Make sure you surround yourself with peers that are, again, pushing that boundary of innovation and developing new ideas. But for me, it's really about making sure that my team has all the knowledge, the skills, and the tools needed. And that's why within my team, I have a requirement when they get on board, and they get board certified by the ACMA, which probably the number one board certification for medical affairs. So it's very important for me for them to have that knowledge from the beginning, and make sure that I, can communicate with them at this level. And everything is based on guidelines, standards, or best practices, and also experience. But for me, that's very important. So this has been for us a very North Star, making sure that once we onboard some of our new members, they all get board certified by the ACMA. But we're also members of other key organizations like, MAPS, Medical Affairs Society for Medical Affairs, and also make sure that we are constantly in those events, in their chapters, learning again from other leaders from other industry, and really making sure that we are following those standards, those industry standards and guidelines to drive the work that we do on a day in and day out. So if you ask me, that's the number one key. We're always learners. We're always continuing to improve our knowledge, and at the same time, tailor that to the experiences that we are gathering ourselves, and continue to build those relationships, not only with your ACPs, but also with your KOLs and other key members from key organizations, because I think when you start gaining that trust and that credibility, then a lot of doors really start to open. And I think that's what we've been able to do here at Cognizant with our global medical affairs team.
And that's beautiful. I completely agree that leadership grounded in ethics, vision, and learning is what keeps innovation sustainable. It's not just about what we build, it's about how we lead while we're building. And before we close, I'd love to touch on something that personally inspires me. Cognizant's partnership with Formula One. Formula One is the world where intelligence, precision, and teamwork push human and technological limits. And in many ways, it mirrors clinical research. Both are high-performance ecosystems driven by data, collaboration, and speed of innovation. Can you tell us how this partnership reflects Cognizant culture of innovation and whether that mindset influences on work in life sciences and healthcare?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, I think it shows Cognizant's vision of always being a leader in the forefront of everything that is around technology. And it doesn't get better or more technology than the Formula One cars. I do have to tell my boss that she needs to send me. I have not been to one of those races yet, but I would love to. But they also sponsor the PGA Tour, which is a golf, professional golf association and tournament as well. So again, Cognizant it seems to be, in the cutting edge of not only the technology, but also the partnerships that they build. And I think that this is another example that they want to be, partner with these great organizations, as you said, that it's all about precision, speed, innovation, technology. And I think that's definitely an approach that we take very well. And other organizations as well. Right now I just came from a conference in New York where we're, partner with some of these organizations that are in the forefront of healthcare. As you know, I oversee not only life sciences, but also healthcare and medical devices. So there's a lot of opportunities, and the message is that Cognizant is eager to partner and collaborate with all these great organizations as we continue to grow our capabilities within this space and continue to push the boundaries, not only with our employees, but also with our assets, with our technology. And hopefully the goal here is that we lead with impact. If what you do really doesn't have impact, then it really doesn't mean too much. But when we're hearing now in a lot of these conferences, the changes that we're doing or the impact that we're having, not only in the people or the people that work with our technology, but indirectly, the ultimate goal is to make sure that we improve lives and improve patient outcome. That is what we do, the job that we do every single day. Then that is what we want to hear. So it's not an easy task. A lot of the time people don't understand the magnitude of some of our products, with one of them having over 400,000 site users in more than 100 countries and more than 60,000, academic institutions. As you can imagine, it takes a village to really make sure that we are, we're driving and we are making the right approach. But it takes a team. So behind me, I have probably one of the best teams in the world. You have engaged with a lot of them, and you can see how persistent they are. They never give up. They're always looking to, make sure that the job gets done. And I think that's a true testament of the people that we have behind behind Cognizant and all the products that we deploy within our specific field.
That's such a powerful comparison. In both Formula One and clinical research, precision and coordination make the impossible possible. And it's amazing to see how the same spirit of excellence fuels breakthrough in medicine. And finally, Dr. Cruz, what advice would you give to young professionals entering clinical research today?
I think that, Marina, the number one thing that comes to mind is get a mentor. I think that in this era that we are, you really need mentors. You need people that have done it, have walked that path, so they can transfer a lot of that knowledge to you or the people that are up and coming. And I don't think no one will say no to a 20, 30-minute call just to talk about their journey or their career path. So I think that will be the number one thing that I will probably advise. And then the second is a life of learning. You're always learning, you're always evolving. Here I am, like you said, very well, working with all this great technology, pushing the boundaries to use technology to enable healthcare and really healthcare integration as we look at it, and making sure that no one is left out without the opportunity or the resources to really have access to a lot of these important healthcare needs that we have in the world. But in order to do that, you have to be a constant learner, and you have to give yourself opportunities, even within areas that you never imagined that you will potentially, be working. Like I said at the beginning, here I am working within a technology company, but at the same time trying to build our medical capabilities within this organization so that technology and medicine come together. And when we really deploy these products, they have been already validated, they have been tested by bringing real world samples and how these and real use cases on how these technologies are going to be deployed, are going to be used. And I think that is the responsibility that we have nowadays, because it's not just about the new shiny thing, putting it out there. It's not taking the great technology that we have and put it in a place where it's going to be successful and impactful. And that's the responsibility that I believe we have. And we have been very clear from the beginning that our goal is just to be a catalyst or to be a liaison and bringing all those insights and that feedback from our end users so that our engineers and our project manager and our product owners can really work on those tools and develop the right capabilities and the right functionalities. And when you do that, then you really have a great, adoption, implementation, and people really take your tools as something that is going to improve something that you've already done. So it's not always that simple, but I think that's the goal. And we will continue to have that mindset to make sure that we are always bringing to the forefront or bringing to the table our end users' feedback and taking that into consideration as we continue to develop our internal technology tools.
Inspiring message. And I love how you highlight curiosity and adaptability. Our field is evolving faster than ever, and those who keep learning will shape its future. Dr. Cruz, thank you so much for this incredible conversation. Your insights, your leadership, and your vision truly show what's possible when innovation meets integrity.
Well, Marina, I want to thank you for the opportunity to inviting us to your panel. It's a great honor to be here with you, and I hope that the information that we share with the audience is helpful, and more important, that really allows to give direction into different career paths. As you and I were in the conversation saying that it's not always a straight line. Sometimes you get into other fields that you have no idea how that is going to potentially then transform into new opportunities. And I remember when me coming from the academia into a technology vendor, it was kind of nervousing. It was, didn't know what to expect. But again, 8 years now after all of that, here we are today. And, many people consider me as a pioneer within this space. I just consider myself as a constant learner, just trying to continue to learn, educate myself, and continue to grow. So thank you for this great opportunity. I think these podcasts are so important to get the message out there that there's always, endless opportunities. But at the end of the day, you have to build your own story. And I hope that's what our audience will be gathering from this podcast today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cruz. Really appreciate it. And to our audience, thank you for watching Clinical Leaders Podcast.